There is something happening inside your head right now that you are completely unaware of. A process so quiet, so seamless, that it feels like thinking. But it is not thinking. It is programming. From the moment you were born, your brain began absorbing the world around you. Every repeated phrase, every emotional reaction from a parent, every lesson drilled into you, all of it was being written into the architecture of your mind. Scientists call this neural conditioning. You call it your personality. But here is the uncomfortable truth. Most of what you believe about yourself was never chosen by you. Neuroscientists have discovered that by the time a person reaches age 7, the dominant patterns of thought that will shape their entire adult life are already forming. The fears they carry, the stories they tell themselves about what they deserve, the invisible ceiling they will one day bump into and call fate, all of it installed before they were old enough to question any of it. And here is where it gets even more unsettling. The mind does not just absorb what it is taught, it actively protects those absorbed beliefs. There's a mechanism in the brain called the reticular activating system. Its job is to filter reality. Out of the millions of pieces of information your senses encounter every single day, your brain selects only the ones that confirm what it already believes and discards the rest. You are not seeing the world as it is. You're seeing the world as you have been conditioned to see it.
This is why two people can live through the exact same experience and walk away with completely different stories. One sees an opportunity, the other sees a threat. One feels capable, the other feels small. It is not the event that shapes a person. It is the mental filter the event passes through, and that filter was built long before the event ever arrived.
Ancient philosophers understood this long before modern science had the language to explain it. Stoic thinkers taught that it is not circumstances that disturb a person, but their interpretation of circumstances. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most powerful men in the ancient world, wrote privately about the daily discipline of watching his own mind, catching the thoughts that were not serving him, and choosing deliberately to replace them. He did not do this because he was naturally calm. He did it because he understood that an unexamined mind is a mind that belongs to everyone else.
The question then becomes, how do you take it back? Research in cognitive behavioral science has consistently shown that thoughts are not facts. They are habits. And like all habits, they can be interrupted, examined, and redirected. The process is not complicated, but it is uncomfortable. It requires sitting with a thought long enough to ask whether it is actually true or whether it is simply familiar. Familiarity and truth are not the same thing, but the untrained mind treats them as identical. The world has always had a vested interest in keeping your awareness small. Advertising, fear-based media, and social pressure all work by triggering instant reaction with no reflection. When a person reacts automatically without pausing, they are extraordinarily easy to influence. A mind that pauses is a mind that is significantly harder to control. You will never fully escape the influence of the world around you. No one does. But there is an enormous difference between a mind shaped unconsciously and one shaped with intention. The first is a life lived on autopilot. The second is something rarer, harder, and worth everything it costs. It begins the moment you stop accepting your thoughts as truth and start treating them as the first draft of something you still have the power to rewrite.